Hello, everyone. I'm Jean Claude at Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this episode entitled The Mayan Portal with IndigoAngel. Of course, you can find my guest on her YouTube channel here at IndigoAngel and also on her website at IndigoAngel222.com. Let's give her a big warm welcome. Indigo, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. I'm doing great. I'm sitting at my hotel at the moment in downtown Cancun. And I'm excited to be here and talk with you and tell you all about my trip into this galactic Mayan portal.
That's amazing because our audience had such a good time last year when we were doing these live shows from Egypt. And I thought, man, it would be so cool if we can get you again there in the energies of these Mayan portals here and have this episode today on Sunday. It's a little bit impromptu for both of us. We just realized we were having so much fun, you on your side and me on my side, doing all these videos. I'm like, oh my God, you're leaving tomorrow. We have to do a video today, bro.
Yeah.
So here we are, folks. Let me ask you to start with, Indigo, what brought you this time around here to this Mayan portal energy? What's going on right now with some of the alignments, and what's attuning you and driving you to make this trip and to spend time here in these frequencies?
It's just a really good time to come. With a lot of the sacred sites around the world kind of being closed down due to current circumstances with the world, and that these gate sites are open and they're available for healing energy. All of the sacred sites here are open, and you can still visit them. You can still go and connect with the galactic synchronization of the Mayans. And so I was guided to come down and to check out as many sacred sites as I could get in while I was here. And so that's what I did, and I'm excited that I did because I had a lot of experiences I haven't had before. I got to go to some new secret sites. Uxmal, went to Tulum, went to Coba, and went to Uxmal. And so they're really fascinating, and I sent you some clips and some stuff of the locations. So
Right. Let me start with a few videos that are separate. So folks, bear with us here because Indigo shared one of her Google Drives, and I was having trouble accessing earlier. So I have two different windows open here to try to share these files with you. So let me start with this first one that I have here, which is just a video file. What am I looking at here, Indigo?
Okay, so this is at Tulum, and this is the main temple at Tulum. It's called the Temple of the Wind. And so this is a pre-Columbian Mayan walled city that is along the Caribbean coast. And I believe this is one of the older archaeological sites compared to some of the other ones.
Wow.
But yeah, this one's pretty amazing. It's one of the most beautiful, just being along the coastline. But this one's called Temple of the Wind, and basically the Mayans here would use this for predicting hurricanes. I guess the way that they had structured it, that there's like a certain howling of the wind that would come through and let them know that hurricanes were coming and things like that. This whole area under Tulum, though, I think the most fascinating part of it is that there are over like 10,000 cenotes underground. And cenotes are like those dark or deep water caverns that are underground.
Right.
And so that was kind of what the Mayans believed, that these were sacred areas that if you would go down them and bathe and swim in them, that they would prevent you from aging, that they had these magical qualities.
And did you have a chance to go in?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Do I have a video of that in the clips that you sent me or no?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Come on, man. That's the money shot. Okay, let me bring up this next video you shared me here. Okay, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so this is the courtyard at Uxmal. And Uxmal was probably the most preserved out of all the archaeological sites. It was the biggest, I would say. And at all of these archaeological sites, they're mostly and largely unexcavated. Like, these are just like little portions of them that you get to kind of go and walk through. But this one was by far my favorite. It really took my breath away here. It was just very beautiful. You can see how this pyramid here kind of overtops the tree lines, and that's kind of the highlight of the architecture there. This one's the most preserved in terms of their glyphs too. So all of the glyphs on the temples and the ruins, you could really actually read them here. You couldn't read them so much at Coba and Tulum just because I think it was older. And you can tell like as you go, so Tulum is more inland. It's about 4 hours into the Yucatan. You could tell they had better technology for building. Just the more that you go in, just the structures get more dynamic and things like that. So, and this one...
Go ahead. Keep going.
This site here in particular was really attributed to Venus. So their Christed deity was the Quetzalcoatl, was the Kukulkan. And so this was actually revered by Venus. And so a lot of their structures here were aligned to Venus. Everything that they built had a galactic harmonization or galactic synchronization, that they would create things on a planetary level to kind of define their galactic community. So I think that's kind of what's most fascinating about it.
Let me bring up, you had a picture of you here with the pyramid complex in the back. So let me just switch screens for the audience here. Bear with me. I think I have it on this window here. Maybe this one here. There you go. That's a great shot. That's amazing. Yeah. And how were you feeling when you were there? Were you able to do maybe some meditations there on the steps or anywhere? Like what access do you have there to do this type of work?
You know, it's pretty, what's the word? Moderated.
Right.
They're definitely enforcing the masks and things like that. So you kind of have to wear your mask the whole time. I had to sneak my mask off just to get this picture because there's literally a little guy hiding around the corner just waiting to pop out and be like, put your mask back on.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah.
You know, it was there. You could find sacred area to connect in, but you kind of had to go off the path a little bit to find it. But it's a good idea to get there before the tours arrive, because once the tours arrive, there's a bunch of people here. I mean, there's really a lot of people coming to these sites at this time. I was kind of expecting it to be a little quieter, but I think because it is open here, I think a lot of people have made this kind of a destination spot to come.
Right. I had another great picture here. You're seeming to be, okay, let's see if I can bring this up. And so you were able, like, or maybe in the underground, were you able to do some meditation there? And if so, what kind of energy were you feeling? Was that very profound for you?
Yeah, I would say that for me, I was receiving a lot of transmissions from the galactic core, or what the Mayans considered the Hunab-Ku. So I was getting a lot of downloads and visualizations of that synchronization, and also the conceptualization was coming to me about how the Mayans revered the entirety of the galaxy. It was almost as if they seen the galaxy as self-reflective, and that it's a process of waking galaxies up. So I feel like the Mayans believed that it was their galactic mission to actually wake up the metagalactic core, and they believed that all star systems were tethered by the umbilical cord, or at least as a human or as an individual, as a being, that we were tethered to the galactic cord, to the umbilical cord, that there are fibers that extenuate into each other star system. Every star system is just ultimately a transmission from the galactic core. So while I was there, I was just receiving a lot of those visuals of the way in which the galactic core communicates. And so that was pretty amazing to tune into.
I have a question on the screen here from Larry. He says, what is the Mayan Portal? So as you're there and as you're accessing all of these sacred sites, how would you answer that question, Indigo?
Well, it's like an Akashic field or an Akashic record, a timeline that once exists on the earth that tunes you into the greater root races. You know, a portal is just being able to access a parallel, simultaneous, alternate reality into, you know, greater bodies or capsules of information. And so that's kind of how I perceive the portal. I think each one of these gate sites is their own individual portal in itself, with different accounts of how they went about their spiritual beliefs and their ritualistic worships. The Mayans were very ritualistic. Something that I kind of talked about on my most recent energy update was the 9 Lords of the Night. They were not only a solar cult or a serpent cult or a Venusian cult, which is very interesting to notate that their Christed figure was ultimately revered from Venus, that it wasn't actually coming from the solar aspect. They kind of seen the solar aspect as just simply a transmitter to the greater galactic core, that it was just a passageway of information, but they really revered Venus as their Christed deity. But in terms of their rituals, they worshipped 9 Lords of the Night. And I can't pronounce each one of these lords, but the first one was the Fire Lord. The second one was the Smoky Mirror. Each one of them had a different, reason, but it actually represents the 9 lunations of the night, and it takes you through the nighttime, each hour of the night. And so a lot of things that they did, like child sacrifice, human sacrifice, even cannibalism, things like this, all the core essence of their rituals and things that they kind of did that made them seem more like a darker cult. I've had people ask me questions about that, like, is this dark? Right. Because of the things that they did. And they simply just had a different perspective of it, that they were appeasing the gods that they worshipped, and that they that it was necessary, that it was a heroic death to do such things, that the parents would offer their children for these things because they believed that this was what appeased the gods. And so they believed that these things were necessary in their time. And why they believed that at that time, I think towards the end of their civilization, that they started to have different consequences for these types of acts. And so those types of ritualistic things, I think, started to die out towards the end of their civilization. But then again, they abandoned their civilization. So a lot is up for speculation in terms of research into why, because there's not a lot of literature left behind. I think there's about 4 books. One was the Dresden Codex. One was the Popol Vuh, I believe it was called. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
The Popol Vuh, yeah.
Yeah. And out of all of the books, even one of those books was completely dedicated just simply to Venus.
Wow. So I want to ask you, you just mentioned that you had a few updates here. So let me bring that up for the audience. So guys, if you want to have these energy updates from the different locations here, these are the last 2 videos that Indigo is talking about. So let me bring that link to her video page down into the chat here so you guys can go look at those after the show. Now, I wanted to ask you, there's a few questions on the screen here too. I'll bring those up. But my first question, as you were there and you were feeling some of these energies, as you say, from these sacrifices and all that, were you feeling guided, and did you have other people around you feeling guided to do, I guess, a healing meditation or to try to resolve some of that energy there? Did you feel that going on in your presence?
Honestly, it brought up more depth of the unhealed inside of me. I was guided to do healing meditations. What I actually got into was working with the black obsidian mirror. So the Mayans worked with a few different stones. They worked a lot with the abalone shell, which I have on my neck here.
Let me bring it up a little bit bigger here so people can see it. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they worked with this shell mostly. This shell connects you deep into the ocean qualities, also dials you into Sirius. There's a few star systems that they ultimately worshipped under. Pleiades mostly. Everything that was done ritualistically in terms of human sacrifice and things like that was done under Pleiades, Hyades, and Aldebaran. These were the main star systems. But they also were very Arcturian, also very Sirian. So that's kind of where this abalone shell comes in. But they also worked with jade. Jade was another big stone for them. It represented fire and the fire deity. And but obsidian was the main stone that they worked with. So as I've been here, I've been guided to work with obsidian mostly. The Yucatan itself is the main export for black obsidian, or for obsidian. So it's everywhere here. But I ended up at Tulum, ended up picking up a black mirror, and what I realized is when you hold it up to the sun, you can actually see the black sun. So,
oh wow,
that's another thing too, is the black sun is most predominantly seen over the Yucatan versus anywhere else in the world. There's actually another lady on YouTube that's been talking about this over the last couple months. I think her name is Jean Claude. I mentioned it on my channel.
Okay.
And I actually left it in the description link as well. But she's been talking about the sighting of the black sun, because she's been actually visually capturing it, which I do feel is just ultimately a helium spectrum of solar consciousness that's not often talked about. It's been demonized in a lot of ways and held responsible for a lot of negative agendas, but ultimately it is just another aspect of solar consciousness, which brings up and reveals a lot of the hidden parts of you, the unhappiness within you. And so when you actually work with this aspect of the sun, it's going to really bring up that density inside. So I've kind of been guided to just do some core energy work using that aspect of solar consciousness while I've been here, using the black obsidian mirror. As the black obsidian mirror, the shamans of the Mayans believed it revealed the soul's purpose. It revealed the destiny of a being, and it predicted prophecy. They actually predicted the coming of the Spanish and Cortez through the black obsidian mirror.
That's fascinating, man. We could do a whole show on just that one. Yeah, because I'd like to do a show on the black sun, and there's so much there, because we were doing I have a series coming up with Leo Zagami. He wrote a series of books called the Confessions of Illuminati, an Illuminati, and they do talk about the black sun here and how it ties into a lot of these things. So I'd be curious to bring maybe you two together to do a show, maybe for another time. So let me see here. We have quite a few slides to run through, but let me get back to this picture here. So now, if we're looking at this picture, let me take the slide off here. We're at the opposite end. Earlier, I think we're on top there where we're looking at, and we can see this little gate that you're in now. So what's this section and what's that called? And first of all, beautiful picture. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
This is just one of the archways that actually leads into the greater courtyard at Uxmal. And down below, you can kind of see the ball game court
right
behind me. That's where they would play the... one of the games that they played, that they would shoot the ball and then the losers would actually be beheaded.
Yeah.
So it was a very serious game. It was life or death to play this game, but it was also seen again as one of those heroic honors to be sacrificed during this game. So each one of the archaeological sites actually have the same thing at every single one. It's just a different dynamic of it.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's fascinating. Can you imagine playing a sport today and losing your head? I mean, that takes conviction, right?
It's definitely made it a good game, I'm sure, because you're playing for your life,
Yeah, like literally, yeah. I mean, today, I guess the closest would be some of those MMA type matches where, it's bare knuckles and stuff like that. It's pretty harsh, but I mean, losing your head is it's a whole other level here. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let me see here. Give me a moment. So Indigo, maybe talk about some of the readings that you have right now, if we have a coupon code for you for people who want to tune into this energy right now. And as you do that, I'm going to try to make the other videos work, the ones that you just gave me access to, and I'll try to set that up while you tell the audience here what we have in terms of special for them today.
Yeah, sure. Well, I did want to add, I did create a new visualization working with the black obsidian mirror. So I do have that on my Patreon. If you would like to work deeper with it, and so you can find that visualization, patreon.com/IndigoAngel, basically doing a crystal synthesis where we bring the black obsidian mirror in and down to the root chakra, and then actually pulling your consciousness up as the black sun and viewing through the lenses of your chakra to reflect back to you through the mirror, those deeper hidden parts of you for greater healing and reflection into the black solar consciousness.
And what package do they need to choose? Well, I have your Patreon up here. If they want to do these visualizations with you, which one are they supposed to get into?
Anyone you'll find that visualization. Every single package has access to all of the videos. The higher packages are if you would like a starseed origin reading, or if you would like to do the one-on-one monthly energy attunements with me.
Okay, and let's go back to some of these readings. Do we have a coupon code for this week for the audience as well? And for
I
which
still
package?
have the Beyond Mystic coupon code at the checkout for the J seal removal. So
For the
if
J seal
anyone's
removal.
interested in removing the J seals, they can. It's Beyond Mystic, all lowercase, one word. Just plug that in at checkout, and it will give you, I believe, 15% off or 10% off of the session.
Okay, very good, very cool. Okay, so I think I have some of these videos working here. So you tell me here which one you want to play. So I have this this funny animation here. I think you're on the beach. Let me see if I can bring this one. What am I looking at here? Do you play
this was me. So this is a fun one. I like to just create art. So this was me on the island of Isla Mujeres, and I was just kind of dancing in the water and adding my special effects to that. Cool. But yeah, Isla Mujeres, that's another amazing location because the island there honors the Mayan goddess Ixchel, Ixchell, and it was their, the main goddess of the island. So if you drive further into Isla Mujeres, like towards the end, where they have a big cliff and a big sightseeing area, they actually have a statue of this goddess. And you're supposed to go there and make 5 wishes to her. And if she decides to bless you, then she'll grant all 5 of those wishes. But she definitely represents the solar cult aspect of the Mayans. She has a big snake on her head, a big malachite necklace, and a fish in her hand for abundance. And that's why you're supposed to ask her to grant wishes, is because she is the goddess of abundance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me bring up this video here. What am I looking at?
That's the goddess.
Okay.
That's the one I was just talking about. Yeah, so that's kind of, I actually got on a little go-kart and had to drive through the entire island to get to that spot. So it was quite the excursion.
Cool. Okay. And what's the fish offering in her hand? What's that about?
It's supposed to offer like abundance.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's what that represents. Is when I was there, I asked for 5 wishes to be granted. So can't tell you what those are. But
okay, keep that for yourself.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I just want to make sure I'm trying to remove the volume because I don't know if I don't want to hurt our audience's ears. Sometimes these clips have very high spike because of wind and stuff. So let me just adjust that one.
Isla Mujeres was amazing. I mean, the beaches are so beautiful. They're all about tequila there. So I got a free tequila tasting. And
nice.
By the end of it, I was with my mom, actually. She bought a couple of bottles of.
Cool. And was this this was the clip from earlier, but from the other side, I'm assuming?
That's from the other side at Tulum.
Okay. All right.
Yep. A lot of it's roped off. I remember about 15 years ago, you could actually climb the sites. But now you can't. So everything, you kind of have to stay on the little path. This is Coba. So Coba was interesting. Coba was more nestled up under the trees. You have to actually take little bicycle trolleys to get to each ruin because they're very spread out in the jungle. And but there was a lot of sacred space at Coba. You could find more areas where you feel like you could actually meditate and things like that. They say that Coba is actually the epitome of the Mayan enigma. It's kind of where everything kind of
that's interesting.
Took off, yeah.
Wow. Let me see this one here. This open. This is something else. A funny little clip. So I have to change windows here. Give me a second here. This was not in your folder. Let's see if I can get that going. I think this is that same island. So let me see if I can bring that up for the audience. Okay, I'll bring the volume down. What are we looking at here?
Oh, that's me on Isla Mujeres. I was swinging. They have a swing there. It's another artsy fartsy thing I was doing.
Just having fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, well, you see those boats behind? Those are catamarans. So they take you out on catamarans to get to Isla Mujeres. And it's definitely a party. I mean, that's one thing that I kind of noticed. Like even here on the beaches of Cancun, we went to a beach called Merida.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I wanted to film this party. It was like a Las Vegas pool party. It was crazy. It was
Oh my God.
People were really kind of...
You're making me so jealous. We have like 5 feet of snow here for the last couple of days, and I had to reschedule some shows because we just didn't have internet connection, and here you are partying. Oh, anyways, all right. So I'm sure a lot of people are jealous of you right now. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I think people are really called for the healing energy, even if they take a moment to kind of do a little partying here and there. But I mean, ultimately, they're connecting into that sacred energy. You know, you can really feel it everywhere.
Okay, we're doing good. I have about 10 minutes left, maybe, and then we can close up the show for 15 minutes max. So, and we have a few clips. So I think we're doing good on time, Indigo. What am I looking at here? What's this one?
That's just more. That's more of Tulum. More of the courtyard at Tulum.
Okay.
And I don't know what each building is specifically. I didn't kind of get that far. You really do need like a tour guide to kind of really get the inside scoop of everything.
Libby says, I learn more with every show or a new guest. Thank you, Jean Claude. Thank you, Libby. I love you. Let me see if I have other questions for you while I scroll from other pictures. Oh, somebody was asking earlier. Wait. Oh, here's a question. Did the Mayans also worship Metatron?
You know, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they maybe weren't aware of Metatron. I mean, if he was in a different form, possibly.
Yeah.
Because their gods, they seem to have their own expression for every god and deity. It's like their own world, their own realm of spirituality that's not like anything else in the world.
Right. Allison says, hey, the background noise is distracting. Yeah, sorry. We're doing a live show on location. We can't control all the environment, but we thought we'd do this quick show with you guys while we're in these energies. The other question was, here it is. Are the Mayans assisting us from another dimension in these times?
I do feel that they are. Yes, I do feel that they are. I feel that time, it's never ceases to exist, that it's all simultaneously existing now. And we just have the ability to tune into those realities that they can, assist us to activate to the energy and activate to the timeline. Right. And I think what's most amazing is the Mayans really did bring forth the global awakening. That's what they left for us. That's how they're really still assisting us, is the 2012 Great Cycle. That was the Mayans' prediction.
Yeah.
And so, they predicted this global awakening. So, I mean, in terms of galactic consciousness, they are still assisting us very much with that. And definitely the awareness of the galactic core.
Right. People are saying here, wow, look at all the people. They don't appear to be social distancing, or were they? I know they were enforcing the mask, but you said there was a lot of parties. People weren't really social distancing then.
Not so much social distancing, no, just the masks were definitely enforced.
Did we talk about this one? What's inside this one here?
I don't know if there's anything inside it or how deep they actually go inside. Some of them didn't have interior aspects to them. That's Coba.
Okay.
That's still Coba.
Or they do have interior aspects to them, but it's still unknown or secrets kind of withheld from the public. And I think, I just saw something last week.
There was a greater pyramid one that I gave you a video clip of. It's a really big one. I know that one for sure does not have an interior part to it. They told us that while we were there.
This one here?
This one, yeah. That's the largest one at Coba. And they said there's nothing inside of it.
They said, yeah.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this is still Coba.
Yeah, that's still Coba.
Okay. And see if I think I have the same clip a few times here. That's that same archway you were in earlier in that picture? Is that it?
Yep, that's it. Yep, that's where I was.
Okay, so this is the playing field.
That's Uxmal.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't quite make it to Chichen Itza because you really do need a whole day for each one.
Right.
I thought I would be able to get here and go to, because there's about 6 to 8 ruins all within the Yucatan, and I was able to get to 3. So, and I was coming in thinking I'm going to get to all of them, But I think it maybe will require
Well,
another trip.
how long have you been there for? A week or 2 weeks already?
For 2 weeks, but there's just a lot that goes on in between trying to get to the sites, because you really do have to plan it to kind of get to each one. You have to kind of, especially to get to the further ones like Uxmal, you have to rent a car, and it's 4 hours of driving one way.
Right.
So it's a full day excursion, definitely.
Hugo says, I want some tequila. I'm like, yeah, I want tequila.
Yeah, they have the best tequila ever here.
So what's this one here? That's that same one in that big courtyard we were looking at?
That's the entranceway into Uxmal.
Okay. Wow.
And it's just amazing to me how many temples and pyramids that they have here. I mean, I feel like it far exceeds anywhere else in the world in terms of how many they have.
Yeah, and still apparently some are still buried that we don't know about in Latin America. So you can imagine. Same thing in Egypt. There's still way more to be uncovered there in those deep Egyptian sands that we just don't know about yet. I had a show 2 weeks ago with Elena Danan, and she's engineer archaeologist. Let me see if I can find that poster where that was, and I'll show the audience here. She worked in Egypt alongside the antiquity ministry, and she was actually offered to go, where's that file? Let me see if I can find it. She was offered to go underneath the Sphinx, and so they're aware of these chambers underneath the Sphinx. So let me see if I can find that file for the audience. Oh, it was this one here. See if we can bring in. She's an alien abductee also. So she had wrote the book. It's in the back screen there. I have it here somewhere. A Gift from the Stars. If you haven't seen this episode, Indigo, go check it out. She's a fascinating woman. Her experience is just amazing. So let me bring that URL down for the audience if you guys haven't seen that as well. That was really, really cool. Okay, there you go. Now, let me see if I can get to my last slides. We did this one. Okay, I think we're there. I think we've did I get all the video files you sent me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, thank you.
All right, very cool. Man, let me ask you this question. You're there with your mom, and you were talking about doing some of that healing. So talk about maybe healing some karma or some ancestral wounds that are brought down through generation to generation. You're saying you were doing a lot of core healing. Do you feel comfortable talking about that publicly a little bit?
Well, I think just starting to identify more of how solar consciousness actually works. I was kind of getting into this in one of my Divine Feminine roundtables that I was going to do. Being with my mom, a lot of ancestral stuff didn't really come up with my mom. It was more of identifying how solar cults work and how solar consciousness actually works. That seeing that the Mayans are such a diverse planetary civilization, that they go from lunar consciousness to Venusian consciousness to solar consciousness, that it's all a spectrum, and that certain demonization gets labeled upon certain things like lunar consciousness versus solar consciousness, that the lunar aspect is demonized. So these are just a lot of the perceptions that I'm having on here that
right.
I think a lot of the darker aspects of things ultimately comes through solar consciousness, through that spectrum of going into the black sun, and then going into the higher aspects of the solar consciousness, which is the diamond and the platinum and its higher expressions of solar consciousness. So I think for me, it was not ancestral, it was what's hidden deep within my own solar aspect of my own consciousness, and what is the core of my unhappiness, what is the core of my trauma, what am I still carrying, what am I still holding deep in my root chakra. So I think for me, I was looking for those reflections back to my conscious mind to kind of, assist me with clearing some of those things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. I think one of the most amazing things that I noticed or learned through the Mayans too was that they overall seem to believe that human transcendence came through galactic embodiment through 8 different lenses of perception. And so you had to, Quetzalcoatl energy, yes, it's felt everywhere. It's all over the glyphs, it's all over everything.
Right.
But they seen things through 8 lenses. So you had to get through specific lenses of the mind to be able to embody your galactic self. So you had to get through your reptilian mind, your mammalian mind, your higher self mind, to get to higher galactic lenses, which ultimately were connecting lenses in between the galactic core, and then the galactic core was a lens itself, and then they had 2 galactic lenses that you embodied after that. And it was about just synchronizing and harmonizing with galactic intelligence, and about making the universe become self-reflective. So I think that's what I was doing. I was self-reflecting here through these different lenses. And so that's what I experienced accessing the Mayan temples and ruins the most.
And what do you think now coming home? Because you have that feeling of, okay, this was great, but I need to get home. You need to maybe anchor some of this energy and kind of step away from it to absorb it. Do you want to talk about that? How in a lot of cases, when you go and access these high energetic sites, you really have to step away to really heal and integrate all of that. So speak about that a little bit here as we round out the last couple of minutes of the show.
Yeah, basically for me, I get really high on it. And so when I get back home, it's usually a density that comes back in, the temperature changes, the realization of getting back into routine. So then it's a process of integrating all of those photonic codes, those radial codes, the nuclear codes, because there's a lot coming through these sacred sites. And so it just restructures the DNA, recrystallizes. I feel the recrystallization that takes place in the plasma. And so it definitely integrates me and expands my consciousness. That was one thing that I noticed the most, because I'm talking about this deep healing, but overall too, I'm expanding. I'm having so much consciousness expansion. So really connecting more with the galactic core, because I think we kind of focus, at least within starseed consciousness, we focus on these individual identities of celestial bodies, but then when you really tune in and see that everything is just an identity or essence of the galactic core, it helps you to see and expand beyond this universal matrix and go into multiverses. And so I think that's what's kind of opening up more for me here.
Wow. Yeah. Fascinating, man. I wish I could follow you on all of these trips. Here we're still kind of in lockdown. They're lifting some of the restrictions now, but still travel is just a pain. Very frustrating. Some people were asking in the chat, how's everybody going to Mexico? We can't even travel. What the fuck? What's going on?
You just have to take a risk and don't live in fear.
Yeah.
You know, because if there's a will, there's a way. And if you feel determined and you feel like it's a calling, like, don't make excuses. Just make it happen.
Yeah. Libby says, thank you, Indigo. Thank you for sharing your fabulous adventures with us and your insights too, because I think, of course, I've named this series that you and I do Galactic Download. There's a reason for that. And we're all entering into this new paradigm, or entering into this new area of space, behind our sun, and we're being affected by these new energies. And with that, we're remembering some of our innate DNA and our own ancestry, and we're also being called now to deal with a lot of our core wounds so that we can heal them and grow. So the work that you're doing, Indigo, is just amazing, and I'm so honored that you're on the show and share this with our audience, because there's very few who have your ability of bringing down some of these higher concepts into our conversations. I mean, people can go read the books, of course, Voyager series and all of that, but to have a conversation like you do and make it really accessible to everyone is very rare. So thank you very much, Indigo. Let me take a quick moment here to thank our PayPal tip jar donators for this episode today. Thank you so much, Skate789. Thank you for that. William Lester says, I just can't get enough. Isn't that a song? I just can't get enough. Victoria, thank you so much for that super chat too as well. Thank you for fighting the good fight and being the change. JC, big hugs. Thank you so much. Oh, Crypto Nana. Thank you, Crypto Nana. Jennifer Holtz, thank you, JC, for all your hard work and dedication to us, your viewers. Jenny, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. Louis, what does he say? Thank you for your hard work. Great shows. Thank you, man. And Keys, I guess from earlier this morning. Thank you so much, Duck Keys. So you guys are great. Thank you so much for all those PayPal tip jars. And of course, we have a PayPal tip jar because we were demonetized and terminated by YouTube. So we can't monetize anymore. And of course, we're only here and we only exist because of you, our supporters. So thank you so much for that, guys. And please do go support IndigoAngel as well on her Patreon account. There she has quite a few meditative videos and visualization techniques, for a lot of the things that she does. And so if you want to have access to that, that is patreon.com/IndigoAngel. Let me bring that back into the chat for you guys. And also, don't forget, you guys have access to a coupon code for the J-Seal removal session here with IndigoAngel. And can you explain very quickly, in 2 minutes, what's the J-Seal removal and why it's important at this time, Indigo?
So the J-Seals, there's 7 biological seals that were placed during the time of the DNA manipulation of the Anunnaki. And so it's a metaphysical, symbolical, spiritual healing where you go through and remove those implants from the biology, but then there's also higher ones that reside into the higher chakras as well, that it's really a removal of religious Templars or religious spiritual containers. So it removes you from the crucifixion wounds, it removes you from savior consciousness, it removes you from victim-victimizer programs, it removes you from the reversal particles in your energy field, and restores the cells in the body that are in anti-life, that are spinning in the reverse. And so it's a really thorough 15 beyond dimensional vertical ascension column clearing where you go through and you remove these plugs that keep you attached to the limitations of achieving your noble desires in life. And so it can be a very powerful healing, a very powerful clearing. I often recommend doing a detox with it. So if you want to go into a fast or do your favorite detox or a juicing to kind of go with it, you know, it definitely boosts the level that you'll get from the removal.
The effectiveness of it. Yeah. Well, that's very great. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for explaining that. And folks, do try that J-Seal removal and you get a 15% discount code here using Beyond Mystic. And the links for her website and the coupon code are in the description box below. So folks, that's it for today. Remember to join us tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. No, sorry, at 8 p.m. Eastern with Elisa Herrera. She is a quantum healing hypnosis therapist. We're going to have a great conversation there. That's going to be fabulous. And tomorrow, I can't wait to do this one. This is a book review with a friend of mine, Amy Fulmer. It's all about surviving the death of her son. So stay tuned for that. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to be quite the show. All right, because I'm sorry, I have to run. I have another appointment at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much, Indigo. Be safe. Have fun here for your last night there in Mexico. And again, thank you so much for being on the show, Indigo. I really love you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. And yeah, you're doing a great job. I love all your shows too. I do watch some of them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Indigo. And I'm Jean Claude at Beyond Mystic. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Au revoir.